Last year, I produced my first feather-legged pigeons in, say, 40 years, and now it's only getting better. I've mated a red Kittel blauwbilcock to a blue-pied sister of stingray, and look what sprung out here. Now, this is a mealy pied, but it's double colored. On the one side, on the left-hand side, it's check, and then it goes over to color, to mealy, and on the other side, it's completely mealy color. And if you watch it from the front, this side is dark check, and this side is mealy. And if you watch it from the top, this side is a dark gray, and this side is totally mealy. And then the tail is a combination of charcoal and white. Really a beautiful baby. I cannot wait to see when she's fully grown. Indeed, a beautiful baby. Today I want to tell you what I think the difference is between a long distance pigeon and a short distance pigeon. I think strain is the biggest determinant of can a pigeon fly the long distance or not. If you know the various pigeon strains well, you'll quickly notice that some of the strains just can fly longer and harder distances. So it's not to say, if you use, for example, speed, it's not to say if a pigeon won on a 1200 velocity and it was only a 300 kilometer race, it's a long distance race. It's not. You get pigeons that can fly certain velocities, but you get pigeons that can fly the real long distances. So we classify the distances in South Africa up until 500 kilometers. It's just under 500, it's short distance. Between 500 and 700 kilometers, it's the middle distance, and thereafter, after 700, it's long distance, and after 800, it's ultra long. So to get a pigeon to perform on the long and ultra long races is not so easy. So like I say, I think strain is the main determinant of long distance pigeons, because you get a lot of pigeons that can fly the short and the middle, but the moment you go over 600 or 650 kilometers, they just fall away. So as a reference on how a long distance pigeon should look, I'm going to use my famous pigeon Victoria. She was also a blue-pied pigeon, a lovely hen. But Victoria had a small bolt. She was medium to small, but more to the small side. But she had huge wings. I immediately noticed that her wingspan relative to the rest of her body is really large or big. So she won 805 kilometers, and she won it on the day. So she was small but with huge wings. And she also, when she trained around the loft, when the other pigeons sit after an hour or hour and a half, she stayed in the air for 3 to 4 hours. So she was a naturally gifted athlete, but she was small. So regarding the build of a long distance pigeon, I think it should be small to medium, and I think it should be from the right strain, and it should certainly be a natural athlete. Just in closure here, the late great Andre Carlsen once visited the Netherlands, and the Netherlands are famous for the long distance pigeon racing, the Zwaarefont as they call it. And when he returned, I asked him specifically about the build of the pigeons. And he said to me that it was strange to him because they flew big pigeons over there on the Zwaarefont, but those pigeons had huge wings and absolute no weight. So I think wingspan relative to the body does play a very important role. But I also had a 3-time winner in 1 year. He won on Tromsburg on 1,000 velocity, that was 500 kilometers. And then he won at Middelburg, about 700 kilometers. And then the last one he won was at Richmond, nearly 800 kilometers. But he was also second on Ventersburg, 285 kilometers. So you get some freakish pigeons. But just to summarize here, for me, a long-distance pigeon should be bred from the correct strain. It should be small. It should have a big wingspan relative to the rest of the body, and it must be a natural athlete. Have a great racing season.